Hi, this is Ken. Welcome to Mastering UX, where we cover a broad range of topics for UX designers, UX strategists, and UX researchers. Have you ever felt that the UX workflow doesn't quite gel with Agile? Today we'll explore a solution, Dual-Track Agile for UX. Dual-Track Agile for UX splits project work into parallel tracks. There's a discovery track, which is centered on user research and design validation, and there's also a main delivery track, which is focused on implementing and releasing the validated designs. So we're going to discuss why project teams can benefit from UX having this additional track and talk about some of the advantages for UX and project teams. And I'd also like to address some of the criticisms of dual-track Agile. So first of all, what is Agile? Well, let's make sure we introduce Agile. Right now, 86% of international software development uses Agile, originating from the Agile Manifesto in 2001. Agile methodologies have transformed the way teams have worked and delivered. So let's cover some of the core principles. The first one is that there's an iterative philosophy. Agile emphasizes short 2 to 3 week sprints, producing incremental product versions and adapting to real-world feedback. Second, there's an emphasis on working software over documentation. So Agile prioritizes functional software over extensive documentation, and it values tangible products over specifications. The third is teamwork and collaboration. Agile fosters collaboration among developers, testers, designers, and stakeholders, ensuring that there's an alignment. If an Agile team is strictly adherent to sort of an Agile purist way, they may feel to spend most of their time actually in one war room together as a team and focus all their energy to work on the current sprint as a team. And this is really something that teams should be willing to step out of specialties and do what it takes to help ensure there's a working piece of software at the end of the sprint, even if it requires us stepping outside of our comfort zone. So why UX needs another track? Well, dual-track Agile introduces a discovery track, and it emphasizes user needs, business validation, and working ahead of the delivery track. I'd like to present some of these benefits that it is to the whole entire project team and not just UX. So there's 6 benefits of dual-track Agile. The first is leveraging UX workflow dynamics. As you know, UX process includes research, ideation, wireframing, and validation, which is really its own rhythm, a 2-week sprint that might not be enough to perform such tasks like user testing or brand auditing. A second track can allow UX designers to plan multiple sprints in advance and refine the solution from a comprehensive user flow standpoint. Which brings me to the second point, having a holistic view of the user journey. So UX professionals consider the entire user journey, and it ensures that product flows, page components, they all work together seamlessly for the user. By having this separate track, you're able to work holistically across some features that may span across several sprints. So there's also an early problem identification. Engaging UX early in the UX projects helps spot potential issues before they escalate into costly development errors. The fourth one is validation before development. So UX emphasizes validating ideas with real users before development, ensuring that the final product meets user needs. So I found that the business always appreciates having conversations, even months in advance, to vet concepts with visualizations of user flows to help you see the implications of features that we're planning for. The fifth one is consistent brand user experience. So UX ensures that product aligns with brand identity, values, also providing a consistent user experience across even several different kind of swim lanes of projects. And the last one, number 6, is efficient resource utilization. In another video called Scaling a UX Organization, I talked about how there's a best of both worlds UX team where there's a dedicated batch of designers designers, and they tend to be generalists, and they're allocated to a delivery track. But there's also the leveraging and the ability to collaborate with a team of specialists such as researchers, illustrators, content strategists on an as-needed basis. And it works out great when you have an agile team with a full or a half a designer allocated to a current sprint cycle, but that dedicated designer can also collaborate with this other team of designers on an as-needed basis on the second discovery track, to get the benefits of a designer who is great in specialized assignments such as content restructuring, branded illustrations, micro interactions. So I want to go over some of the criticisms of dual-track agile. So for agile purists, there are grounds on which they might disagree with the concept of dual-track agile. And I'd like to talk about some of the things that critics might say and point out that many of their points are valid, but I think they can be overcome by just being a good steward and a teammate on the project. So blurring of roles, separating discovery and delivery might seem to be this creating of distinction of roles, like designers versus developers, and rather than fostering a unified team approach. What I will say to this is that there's absolutely should be designers that are willing to be good with business requirements as a sort of secondary skill, and that they could be helpful with UI QA, and they could definitely be a partner to the product owners for prioritizing features that are meaningful to the user. The second point is they might bring up that there's a potential for silos. One of the core tenets of Agile is breaking down silos, promoting open communication. And Agile purists might argue that dual-track Agile, by dividing the work into two separate tracks, risks creating new silos where the discovery team might become disconnected from the delivery team. And for this, I would say that the UX can facilitate more meaningful collaboration by giving the dev team more time to consider and facilitate conversations with the team holistically, building cohesiveness, and also giving time to kind of vet out technical feasibility, as well as foster alignment with business partners, the product owners, and all the team members by using wireframes to facilitate these conversations. As you know, a picture's worth 1,000 words. In our wireframes, the work that we can do can really facilitate team building conversations. The next point is that it can be argued that there's going to be a delay in delivery. Agile purists might believe in delivering work and working software quickly and frequently. They might argue that the discovery phase in dual-track Agile could delay the delivery of features to end users, as features extensively validated and refined before they even enter a development phase. What I would say here is that the UX designer should be a good team player and never sacrifice the team's current efforts to merely dream about what will come about in 6 months. And so you might ask, how is it possible to do all this? Well, I would argue that it's not hard for a designer to keep several developers busy for weeks. And so we should use that efficiency to work on discovery, big picture envisioning, user testing, and building alignment. Another statement that could be made is that it's contrary to the Agile Manifesto. The Agile Manifesto emphasizes that it's about responding to change over following a plan. And Agile purists might argue that sort of this extensive validation and research and discovery phase of dual-track Agile, they lean more towards this heavy planning than the Agile principle of adapting to change. What I would say is that the UX designer should take the learnings from each and every sprint. There's great feedback that we can learn from this. We're all believers in being iterative and learning and incorporating our learns, and we should evolve the future state work that we're doing as we're working on the current sprints. So in conclusion, I really want to say that I appreciate Agile, and I've learned that UX workflow needs are a bit different than software developers' needs. By adding a second track, the Agile project teams, I believe that as a whole, can reap more the benefits of what UX has to offer. So if you found this content insightful, please subscribe or share this work that I put into this free content. My name is Ken, and I hope to see you on the next episode.